Hello and welcome to an episode of Agri Art. In 1988, Dr. Joanne Nasseur wrote a paper on aesthetics of gardening and garden care. The aesthetics of landscape maintenance has both a practical purpose and an artistic purpose. In the former case, maintaining a field as clean as possible in an agricultural setting will increase the yield of a crop. That's why pesticides are so extensively used. In the latter case, a common garden is a vision that exists in the mind of the designer and must be imposed upon nature. Nature, to quote a famous actor, finds a way. As a consequence, one must expend great efforts to stave off the march of nature into your garden to maintain your vision. There are several aesthetic elements involved in the care and maintenance. These are domination, intention, neatness, and novelty. The concept of domination in the landscape has different emotions depending on which gardening style is used. In the grand scheme of things, a garden is a manifestation of the designer's artistic vision. A gardener takes a piece of nature and converts it into a personal haven and/or point of practical purpose, such as the growing of food. One needs to maintain control over the land in order for the garden to remain a garden. It's just a simple reality of things. Intention is a study and understanding of the surrounding land. Such aspects include what weeds are existing within your land, what strengths and weaknesses these weeds have, where water pools, and where the land is too dry. With this knowledge, you can manage around these limitations. This brings us to neatness. To maintain the proper aesthetic, and to prevent the garden from just becoming plain old nature, one has to make sure that the desirable traits that are tidy must be attended to. This means keeping weeds down, and keeping all aesthetic features tidy and orderly. Within the Western-style garden framework, such traits symbolize care for oneself and care for the community that surrounds you. The last trait is, of course, novelty. There's always an interest in adding unusual plant species into a garden environment. Since exotic plants have become the mainstream, there's been increased interest in native plants. In Minnesota, there's been an extensive movement in increasing the number of native plants in Minnesotan gardens. This movement is brushed against Minnesota law since there are regulations stating the requirement of a certain amount of turf in the front yards. One individual got around such regulations by using only a small amount of turf. The prairie environment has become a trend in Minnesota where the natural prairie environment is recreated on a smaller scale in the front yard setting. Hello, I just want to let you know, if you want to fund this channel, you can do so on the platforms seen in the description below. While the author ascribes sinister undertones to farmers using pesticides and gardeners keeping everything clean, the ambition to show pride in one's environment and work has no evil inherent within it. It should be rather considered the result of unavoidable trade-offs. Prior to the advent of synthetic chemicals, both fertilizers and pesticides, and modern machinery, more land was needed to provide a similar amount of food to the overall population. As a consequence of modern agriculture, much of that land that was once being tilled for farming has been returned to the wild, much to the benefit of the wildlife, as the says. Consequence of this benefit, however, is the perennial problem of chemical runoff, and subsequent need to manage that problem. The neatness of common gardens makes a neighborhood more aesthetically pleasing as a place to live. The consequence of this neatness, however, is the perennial problem of insect habitat destruction, which includes pollinator population. This is likewise a problem that people have to manage. The rules of trade-offs in economics apply to many other situations, both social and practical, and so it applies to horticulture and agriculture as well. As Thomas Sowell aptly put it, there's no solutions, only trade-offs. And that will covers everything. Thank you for watching.